Did you know that chemistry changes with skin color? At least that's according to one young chemistry professor at Rice University who is teaching a new class beginning this semester called AFROCHEMISTry, or what she calls the study of Black Life Matter. Chemistry professors should not try to make jokes. Hey, everybody, I'm Steve Green with Bill Whittle and Scott Ott, and this is Right Angle, brought to you by the members of BillWhittle.com. And this is a supposed science class at Rice, a serious research school. Scott, I decided to look into this a bit because the only chemistry I ever took was my junior year of high school, and I was terrible at it. I mean, I had to cheat my way and beg my way into getting a C. It was just like this for me. I didn't get it. But I didn't remember there being any kind of a racial aspect in chemistry, so I decided to look up the chemistry of melanin. And it turns out that the most common form of melanin has two forms linked to 5,6-dihydroxyindole, DHI, and 5,6-dihydroxy. And this is why, I had to crib and charm my way into getting a C in this class. It's just, these are words I don't know, talking about things I don't understand, and I couldn't be made to care less. But even reading this Wikipedia entry, I still couldn't find anything about race in there. But according to the teacher, this is Dr. Brooke Johnson at Rice, she will teach students to apply chemical tools and analysis to understand Black life in the United States, along with her personal reflections and proposals for addressing inequities in chemistry and chemical educations. Other questions she'll look at include what does it look like to do science on one's own terms? What does justice look like in chemistry? And of course, how does our society shape the science we do? It seems like the only thing missing from this chemistry class, Scott, is chemistry.
Well, there'll be one other thing I predict will be missing from those chemistry classes, and that is Black students. Any serious student who wants to get a degree in chemistry is not going to waste his time fiddling around with these kind of opinion-based musings from some professor who thought she'd get a press release and some publicity like this out of it. But it's science is science, and it doesn't matter what color your skin is. However, those two chemical words that you just used a little earlier, I'm pretty sure both of those ingredients are in the shampoo I use. If you ever read the shampoo bottle, you'll be amazed at how many syllables can fit into one word. It's sad. There are a couple things sad about this. Number one, that some otherwise probably intelligent person has decided to scuttle an otherwise valuable service to humanity by fiddling around with this kind of thing just because she apparently doesn't know how to set up a blog. Because if she just got a blog, she could express her opinion all she wanted.
Yes.
And she wouldn't
get paid for it, though.
Well, she could get some Google AdSense dollars, but not much. So, the fact that a serious university where, by the way, one of John Kennedy's most famous speeches about the mission to go to the moon was made, and one of his funniest lines ever was spoken as well when he was making a list of, why do we do this hard thing, and why
climb the highest mountain?
Why do we do that hard thing or whatever? And he says, why does Rice play Texas? So, sadly, this professor has lost her grip on why people study chemistry, and in a way, it's because it is hard. It's because it's difficult, and because if you're able to get some understanding of it, you can unlock some of the secrets of the created order and figure out how things work and how they're done, and you can make things better. This is going to be something that will attract attention for a little while. If they make it an elective, the lazy students will sign up for it for years to come. But my prediction is that it wouldn't last long if it was just relying on real chemistry students to sign up for it.
Yeah. Bill, Scott just reminded me of something. A couple of weeks ago, my friend and PJ Media colleague, Charlie Martin, posted something in the Make Me Laugh Slack channel that we keep at my other job. And it was a flow chart on how to choose which engineering degree you want to go to. And one of them was the question was, do you care about safety? And if the answer was yes, it suggested you study mechanical engineering. And if the answer was no, it suggested you study chemistry. And I got a great kick out of that, because even though I sucked at chemistry, I was always, despite my poor math skills, I was always very interested in science. I just didn't have the skill set to pursue that as a career. But that aside, I think of the students looking, oh, Chem 135, I should probably take this. It's probably a good class. But isn't Rice committing fraud on these students who are paying almost $79,000 a year to attend Rice this year? $79,000. I mean, it's a serious research school. But aren't they committing fraud against these high-paying students for calling this class chemistry?
I think if you're smart enough to get into Rice, you're probably smart enough to figure out what this class is about.
Yeah.
I think Scott really hit it on the head when it comes down to it. It's like chemistry is hard. I've played around with this a little bit before. It's like a college. Well, let me rephrase this. Which do you think would be easier to pass? Getting a degree in engineering or getting a degree in engineering studies, where you talk about the social relationship of engineers and their inbred biases and all of the other stuff? I'm thinking that engineering is harder than engineering studies. In fact, I think anything with studies after it is automatically BS. Just out of the gate, it's automatic BS. So I'm going to major in studies. That's what I want to major in, and I want to talk about how all of these study classes all affect each other and all the rest of it. So yes, it's an easy way to say I took a chemistry class. I don't know what justice in chemistry means. I suppose there is, in that entire one statement, the entire progressive worldview encapsulated, that some chemical reactions are not fair to certain elements and don't turn out the way they should be. And so therefore, we're going to have to make allowances and quotas and offsets and differentials and all the rest of it to get a just chemical result. But here's the ultimate thing, as Scott was on this too. When I see things like this, sometimes I think the only way I'll ever be able to understand it is to reverse it. So if I were to live in a black-dominated society and I was a white student and I was at a major university and somebody offered me a class called white chemistry, how to understand chemistry through your whiteness and so on, I would be embarrassed. Yeah. I'd be embarrassed about it, is how I would feel. I'd be deeply embarrassed and I'd be deeply angry, because the thing is so obvious that nobody really sees it, that this entire progressive worldview is so inherently racist. We white rich liberals have to help the poor black people who can't do this. They can't get an ID to vote. They can't, it's just endless. So Rice is now going to have a course in black chemistry, which is an acknowledgement from the faculty. I don't buy this, but they do, that black students can't make it in regular chemistry classes. And so, you know what? Just keep going, Rice. I am utterly convinced, sad to say it, but I've been convinced for several years now, Steve, that brick and ivy universities are dinosaurs that are just gut shot and just walking, bleeding out their final steps. You know?
I never thought I'd see it, but it's all the seeds were planted before I was born, and it was just kind of there in the background. But the takeover has been so sudden these last 15, 20 years. It's just completely taken aback by it. Really.
So real fast. So what do you think this class does to the prestige of somebody who gets a chemistry degree from Rice?
From Rice.
No, but I'm saying if you graduate with a degree in chemistry from Rice and you find out that they're offering a class like this, it devalues
absolutely
what you've done.
Yeah. And the reason I said from Rice is because that used to mean something. Maybe not so much anymore. And I'll tell you who'll be taking this class. The person who's racked up $79,000 a year worth of student loans at Rice to do studies of deconstructive studies. That's going to be their degree. Chem 135 fulfills their science requirement. So, back in the day, if you were going to pursue a journalism degree, you still had to take statistics, and that was the make or break class to get you into J school, which is one of the easier degrees. And now you probably have studies of statistics to get into J school. So there's not even that much
Studies
rigor
of statisticians.
anymore. Yeah, yes. So I kind of saved the kicker for the end here. You know me, I love doing my research. I might not be so good at the math, but I can do the research. And I looked into Dr. Brooke Johnson, the young chemistry PhD who's teaching this class. She earned her doctorate in chemistry from Stanford. This is that's a no fooling around research school, just like Rice. And now she teaches at Rice, except she doesn't work in the chemistry department. She doesn't even work in any of the sciences buildings. She works for the diversity, equity, and inclusion department. She works for DEI.
I am shocked.
And she's
Shocked to hear
teaching
this.
a class called Chem 135. That is absolutely fraudulent. And that's your right angle on that, brought to you by the members of BillWhittle.com. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Shocked, I said. Shocked.